This is Robin Bullock on the right. He's like a Trump prophet. He says just the wildest stuff, man. He laid down some prophecies about Hurricane Milton. Like it's already long past, but he wanted to tell us some secrets that we didn't know about it. So let's listen to these religiously revealed secrets. By the way, there's a major lag in between his voice and his video, so just kind of overlook it.
And he seeks to wear you down until you say, well, I don't care. I don't care. Let me tell you where the solution is. Here's the solution. I'm just going to speak to you as a prophet.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know you wanted me to tell that. You stopped me a couple times. You want me to say that?
You catching what he's doing right now? He's pretending to have received a message from God live on air. And I guess God needs him to audibly talk back to him. Or God won't be able to hear it, right? That's why Robin was talking with his voice. Oh my God, dude, this is so stupid.
Is. Here's the solution. I'm just going to speak to you as a prophet.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know you wanted me to tell that.
It's so embarrassing.
Stopped me a couple times. You want me to say that? We are right here. Let's just say for right here where I'm sitting, right here beside my head, picture a thin veil, like it's very thin, and you can see through it, but you don't know it's there.
Okay, so God is giving him this message directly to give to us. So we shouldn't hear any kind of mistakes or any hiccups or confusion. It should make complete sense, right? And by the way, why would God do this? Why doesn't God just talk to us directly in our heads? Don't we all have a connection to him or whatever? Why did he get this poor fool on this tiny little Facebook page or whatever to deliver this message?
I don't know it's there. It's real thin. There is a serpent. The spirit of the serpent is right there. And you can't see him, but he's right there. The veil is that thin and it's that close.
Okay, so there's a thin veil. Got it. Thank you. You made that clear over the past 45 seconds.
And he's waiting to get in. He's just waiting on the opportunity. This is the fulfillment of all the ages. Either we push it over the top or the Antichrist comes in early.
We push it over the top. Is he saying we go out and vote a bunch? Because this is pre-election when... Hey, no! Oh! Miki, get down. Cat's standing on my soundboard. Hang on. My God. Trying to play music for you guys over here. Try that again. So is he saying that they have to vote Trump in, but they have to push it over the top? They have to get a whole bunch of people out to overwhelm? I don't understand. If there's cheating, then why would that matter? You know, there are actual cases of election cheating in other countries, a lot. Like in Russia, or a better example is Belarus. Lukashenko, the dictator there, always gets about 70% of the vote, give or take. Always the exact same range. Because they don't want to make it blatantly obvious that it's a dictatorship. They want to make it seem like it has a veneer of democracy, thus implying, I suppose, that democracy is a good thing or that the people would want it. I don't know. Anyway, it has a veneer of democracy, but they slowly replace every member of Congress with members of the far right. They keep doing ballot box stuffing and all of these other things that Donald Trump has claimed. The reason that he's made these claims about these things, about early voting and all that, is because dictatorships really do use those things to manipulate elections. And they have for ever, since the early days of democracy. Anyway, if a dictator wants to mess with the elections, they'll mess with the elections. It doesn't matter how many people come out and vote. Lukashenko is still going to get 70%. He's going to keep his people in Congress. That's just how it's going to work. So I don't know what he's thinking by saying this. It doesn't make any sense.
The Antichrist comes in early. It's one of the two. And so People say, well, this is not encouraging. It is if you're fighting. You've got to stand in the Spirit. Do you know the power that you and I have in the Spirit? Now, if you think that this is not a spiritual occultic war, we see the top echelons of the spirit world working with top officials.
What does he mean when he says occultic exactly? Terrible time to start chewing. Sorry, guys. Chewing a Tootsie Roll. I got a whole bunch of them here. My wife's mom sent a gigantic box of candy, and we've been burning through it, but she doesn't eat chocolate because she's allergic, so there are like a billion Tootsie Rolls at the bottom that I'm eating. Anyway, I was dealing with this question when I was writing my book. Was Hitler an atheist? Like, what does a cult mean? I wanted to know if he really was an atheist, as Christians claim, or if he was a Christian like atheists claim. And the answers are in here. It's on Amazon and Audible and everywhere else. OwenMorgan.com to find it if you want it. Anyway, as it turns out, Hitler was not involved in the occult at all. That's just a fabrication. He was not. Aside from that, what does a cult mean? In Nazi Germany era, pagan meant basically non-Christian. It was pretty much people that believed in the old Germanic gods, the old Norse gods, actually, like Thor and Odin and Loki and stuff. It was people that believed in that stuff. Those are pagans. What is a cult? Is it people that believe in magic? I have no idea I'm sorry, let me rephrase. I have no idea what Robin Bullock is talking about specifically when he says a cult. What does he mean by that exactly? Does he mean in his mind that like witches and warlocks are running around using their magic to curse people and like
working with top officials? The WEF. We watched as a shaman witch was.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. The WEF. Walking into this conspiracy theory, let me just give you a little bit of background. The World Economic Forum is a non-government organization registered with the United Nations. It's run by, I think, a guy named Klaus Schwab. He's a German guy. And the purpose of this NGO is to identify problems in the world. Say there's a polio outbreak in Sudan or in the Congo or something. The leader of the WEF then goes to really, really rich people internationally, including Chinese billionaires, Bill Gates and George Soros and any other billionaires, goes to them and says, if we had $50 million, we could stop this polio outbreak in the Congo. That way we can get the vaccines made and we can set up a distribution network and take out this epidemic. And it works. And, these billionaires feel good about themselves because they bettered society a little bit, at least. That's what the WEF does. It organizes large efforts to correct worldwide problems. They also address like food insecurity, stuff like that. They were targeted after COVID started because they said locking down the way that we are is kind of changing the way that the world's economies function. And this is our opportunity to reset our economies to be more beneficial to the working poor or the working class. And seemingly out of nowhere, just like overnight almost, I don't know where it came from, but all of a sudden, this organization that deals directly with billionaires and who said that they want to help the poor, suddenly there's a conspiracy theory about them trying to control the world or some other crazy thing like that. Anyway, that's the World Economic Forum. They oftentimes honor rich people that have worked with them. They call up Elon Musk, who I think was asked to show up to one of their conferences, but I don't think he showed. Anyway, they call him up or they give him an award or an honor or whatever for being rich. I don't have any clue. Anyway, that's what the WEF is. It's part of the Great Reset conspiracy theory. Let's keep listening here.
Working with top officials. The WEF. We watched as a shaman witch was brought on the stage of the WEF and coughing and spitting on them.
Okay, I looked into this. This shaman witch to which he's referring was just an indigenous person that was showing up to give a talk on issues that indigenous people deal with. That's the shaman witch. I guess if you're not red, white, and blue-blooded American, then you're a shaman witch. What a colossal scumbag, dude.
That's really something to do in a world of COVID, isn't it? They're the very ones that push the mask and push all this, and yet they're letting some shaman witch spit on them.
What, she coughs during her thing and suddenly you're accusing people? What is he even accusing people of? I don't understand.
Breathe on them. Think about that just a minute. And they're leaning into her face. No mask. And this is supposed to be in the world where disease is rampant.
So does he not think that disease is rampant in this world?
But they're letting this happen. Then you see CERN doing what it's doing.
Oh my God, another conspiracy. The particle accelerator, CERN, when they set things up, they detected the Higgs boson famously. They were gifted a bunch of things from different countries around the world. One of the countries that gifted them stuff was India. They gave them a statue of Shiva, one of the gods of Hinduism, Shiva. And people believe that that's pagan, and that now we know that they're trying to create a black hole to suck the world in. I mean, he's hitting every conspiracy theory here. Wow, dude.
Then you see the Gothard Tunnel dedicated with the ceremony of Pan right before the pandemic happened.
I don't know that one.
Then you see all of this stuff happening. Well, now this is not anything new. It keeps going. We get to Paris. Paris starts the Olympics.
Oh, no.
And you see the white horse of the apocalypse riding across the ocean with the flowing garment behind them. They get there. And when they get there, the first thing they do is blaspheme the Last Supper.
Oh, my God, dude. It doesn't stop. I want to hit each of these conspiracies just in case somebody wasn't paying attention at the time or didn't hear about this. But when the Olympics started, I think Paris put on some kind of a show. It was like the Greek gods, you know, it was the Greek gods all together and they were singing and stuff. They were dressed like Greek gods. He's going to like hit this pretty hard. So let me just show a picture. It's Dionysus. Yeah, he's supposed to look like Dionysus. Here you go, Dionysus, right there. This is the kind of picture or the scene that he's referring to here. And he says that this is making fun of the Last Supper. Bro, no. There are other people on this planet other than you. Are you aware of that, Robin? Are you aware that other people have other beliefs and experiences in their lives other than your experiences? Is this the first time anybody has ever said that to him? So there's a claim that the Paris Olympics were like mocking God, making fun of the Last Supper and all kinds of stuff and blaspheming and blah, 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 you know.
With a table full of transgenders and some guy, blue guy with a diaper laying in the middle of the table. And they're sinning in every indulgence they can.
Oh my God, dude. They are Greek gods, okay?
Portraying Jesus and his disciples. We see it open with that. France. But then we see transgenders going into competition in the Olympics.
Here's another one. No, that didn't happen. There were no trans people in the Olympics at any point. There were no trans people there. He's claiming that there was a trans woman in women's boxing. She's cis. She's not trans. She was never trans. She's cis. But somebody says, I got punched really hard by her. And Robin Bullock is like, well, we all know that women can't punch hard. So she must be a man through the transitive property or whatever.
Then we see the closing ceremony where the piano's turned upside down.
I don't know this one.
And they begin to play the hymn of Apollo. And while they're playing this hymn of Apollo,
of course, using the word hymn because he wants to make it seem like it's some religious worship or something.
This golden creature comes down and meets the guy on the white horse and lets these hordes loose that raise a portal out of hell and hang it up in the Olympic.
Raise a portal out of hell.
Rings. And the scripture said, in the Greek, his name is Apollo, and that was a Grecian games called the Olympics.
Wait, did he just say the Bible said that?
That raise a portal out of hell and hang it up in the Olympic rings. And the scripture said, in the Greek, his name is Apollo.
Okay, now hang on a second. Does the Bible talk about the Olympics? Huh, check that out. No, it doesn't, apparently. No, the Bible does not directly mention the Olympic Games. However, the Bible does use sports imagery to describe the Christian life, and some say that the Bible's parallels between sports and faith can be applied to the Olympics. Okay. So, no, it does not mention the Olympics. He's just like making this up, is the point.
Hang it up in the Olympic rings. And the scripture said, in the Greek, his name is Apollo, and that was a Grecian games called the Olympics. Then on top of all of that, then you start seeing this hurricane form that everybody says is man-made. They start talking about being man-made. It's more man-made than they realize.
Who is talking about it being man-made other than Robin Bullock? He says, everybody knows it. Everybody knows this stuff.
It happened bigger than they think, because I'm not at liberty to say till I have the facts.
When has that ever stopped you, Robin?
But it was brought to my attention last night that 2 years ago,
I'm not at liberty to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Last night that 2 years ago, there was a big fashion show where people trudged through the mud and mudslides and everything, and it looked like kind of that event.
Like what event?
And then it looked like zombies walking through it. And then watch this. Then you see, what is the last hurricane? Was it
Milton?
Was that
Milton,
the name?
yeah.
Wasn't that what they call?
Milton.
Yeah. Did you see the eye of it? Did you see the eye of that
Yeah,
hurricane?
I mean,
Did you
I
see
think
what
so.
it looks
I mean, it was a hurricane eye. Like, well, I don't understand.
like?
No, I didn't see what it looked like.
Oh, if they had a picture of that. Oh, if they had a picture
They have a picture. They'll show it in a minute.
of that, they ought to put it up. It's a demon from hell. And you
Oh my God, dude. All right, you know what? I'm gonna have to show the picture. Hang on. Like they cycle through a bunch of pictures because they can't find the right one. But right here at the end, it's a demon from hell. He's showing a picture of like the radar or whatever. Brother, this is what hurricanes look like. Is this your first time looking at a hurricane ever? Oh my God, people. We need to normalize mental health, like desperately. This is the point at which the dude's family members should be having a discussion with each other about whether they should be taking his keys away and like calling a mental institution. The guy is unironically claiming that CERN is trying to destroy the world with a black hole, and that the World Economic Forum is controlling things from the shadows and zombies. Like, what the hell is he talking about? The women in mud or whatever? What? He's just like, is he making this stuff up or what? It is wild to listen to. For the record, he does make things up, just straight up, right off the top of his head, just lies. Let me show you proof that he does that. All right, here's your proof that Robin Bullock just straight up lies, okay? April 26, 2022, Bullock goes on a show with Roger Stone and Steve Schultz, and Roger Stone decides to come with something interesting, and he claims that there's a portal open above the White House that through which demons are escaping and, you know, ravaging the land or some other crazy thing. And Steve Schultz up here asks Robin Bullock how they can close this portal to hell to stop these demons from pouring into our realm.
There is very clearly, in my opinion, some kind of satanic portal that is right above the White House, can be seen day and night.
Let's play that little clip because this is from a sky cam, not our cam.
All right, let me jump forward to another clip about it. Just another minute or two later, they continue on with this.
There's that circular thing.
There you can see it. It's very, very clear. It doesn't move day or night. It's harder to see during the
Sure, I don't even need to say it's just bull. It was all bull the whole time.
day, but you see it at night. And I'm absolutely convinced about the inherent, there it is again, about the inherent evil of what's going on in the White House, what's going on in the country. And I think it's imperative that people know about this, that people of good faith, that Christians know about this, and we begin a national, essentially a prayer assault to close the portal.
That's good. Now, there's one during the day that it's harder to see, but
Yeah,
that's
but you can see it.
it's there.
This isn't during the day. This is at night. What do you mean during the day? We're looking at a shot of the black sky. Also, what's there? I'm looking at a light shining from the White House. What are they seeing?
It's right there above the White House. So
It's always above that gable. You notice that?
yeah,
Oh my God, they're so full of. Anyway, so that happens April 26, 2022. And then late March 2024, so about 2 years later, Robin Bullock goes on this woman's TV show. He says this on there.
Worship. So we've come down. See, that day we called down. I said, Lord, send the fire. The Elijah moment. Then this portal forms over the White House.
Oh, it was you all of a sudden that formed that portal, huh? Okay. Like he doesn't realize there's some fucking asshole on the other end watching all the stupid shit he says to catch him in lies like this. Oh my God, man. It's just crazy to me that he can so brazenly lie to people's faces like this. He thought nobody would remember. It's just like, it's so wild that somebody would do this. Just a public figure of all people steals something like this and claim that they did this. That's nuts.
Of fire. And it's over it now. And they don't want anybody to see that.
Who is they? Who doesn't want anyone to see this or whatever?
And but it was there, and I guess it's still there. It was there, and it was their own cameras that showed it. And people couldn't get over it because in the daylight it was like a round circle, and at night it looked like an orange moon surrounded with a white.
God, he's so full of shit. Oh my God. Look at what I found in this thing of candy. Do you guys remember these? Do you guys ever have these when you were little? Is it focused? Can you see it? It's that little strawberry thing. You remember these? Oh my God. I haven't had one of these in like so long. Yeah, that's crazy. I forgot these even existed. I have to eat that later. I can't eat it now, sadly. Yeah, they're really good. Anyway, point is that Robin Bullock just flat out lies to people. All right, keep listening to his absolutely insane. This is why I don't know if he's lying or dumb as dog. I cannot tell.
And you can see it, the whole face of the profile of this thing. And they gave it a name.
Hurricane Milton. Oh my God.
But get this, all at once, for no reason, this thing had a mind of its own. And the Hurricane Helen was first.
Hurricane Helen? I don't know of any Hurricane Helen. When's the last Hurricane Helen we've had? I know of Helene. Is that the one he's referring to?
Hurricane Helen was first. Then this thing comes along and crosses it the other direction. Has a mind of its own.
Completely full of shit. It just came in from over Central America, I believe. It crossed over the, not peninsula. Maybe it is peninsula, whatever, the land bridge or whatever in Central America. It crossed into the Gulf and then it turned into a hurricane. This storm did. So anyway, it's just like completely full of shit.
But here's what they did. Suddenly we find out that the plane that goes up and flies into the eye of the hurricane.
All right, now let me explain. There are people that work for the NOAA. It's National, what's that stand for? National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, a U.S. government agency. People that work for NOAA take airplanes into hurricanes to take measurements and things like that to help people prepare so that we understand the hurricane better and can, determine if we need to evacuate or what. One of the pilots that did this, his whole life died a while back, and they decided to, on their trip to the hurricane to do their measurements, they decided to pour his ashes into the hurricane as a tribute or whatever while they were up there. It's a nice tribute. All right. So now listen to what he says.
Plane that goes up and flies into the eye of the hurricane. They took the ashes of a dead man and poured it into the eye of the hurricane.
This is this guy huffing and puffing on the laugh. He's so upset.
Are you kidding me?
They offered it a sacrifice. They offered it the ashes of a man.
Brother, it wasn't a sacrifice. The guy was already dead. Isn't a sacrifice where you kill somebody for a cause or whatever?
Put it in the eye of that thing. They said, oh, he was a meteorologist and he chased these hurricanes and they took. No, that's not the one.
Yeah, he says, I need that picture of the hurricane. So they're showing him like a billion pictures. They're cycling through them. He's like, no, that one doesn't look weird. I'm looking for this very specific picture that kind of maybe a little bit looks like it could be a person.
The one. This guy, they said, was a storm chaser all of his life. They stood around with a ceremony in the middle of that hurricane and
A ceremony.
poured the ashes of a dead man into its eye. And when it did, that thing went crazy.
Yeah. Ashes contributed enough energy to a hurricane to destroy Florida. Totally. That checks out.
Just crazy. And you think it's not occultic. Well, those people, one newscaster said it was a beautiful thing.
Right, yeah. A tribute to a guy that worked his whole life on this thing? Yeah, it is. Are you kidding me right now?
Does that even sound feasible?
It doesn't. It sounds
Why would you
stupid.
Does he know what the word feasible means?
Doesn't it sounds
Why would you do
stupid?
that?
And why in a natural, some ashes flying in with there's that kind of powerful wind would have zero effect.
There you go. You're using your brain now.
But not if it's occultic. It would have a huge effect.
So it was occultic. That's why it affected it. Oh my God, bro. Get help.
We say, well, those people, they probably just meant to honor his memory as a storm
Yeah.
chaser. Well, I don't care what anybody says or does. Satan knew that was an offering of a human corpse.
But I think if sacrifice has to be somebody giving something up. This dude was already dead. He wasn't giving anything up.
Into the eye of that thing. And that thing, Steve, it's more man-made than people realize.
Okay.
And,
Wow.
Wow.
I was, the first hurricane that came through,
Helene.
I was sitting at a farm and I was studying and the Lord let me know. He said, what you're seeing is there was a war council called in Atlanta, Georgia by hell itself.
A war council called in Atlanta by hell.
A war council
For what?
was called by Satan. And when those
And how does he have this information? Is God giving him this information? What's he supposed to do with this?
war council was called by Satan. And when those demons left all those posts and headed toward Atlanta, it caused that first one. My point being is that dam broke in the Carolinas.
But what is this ribbon he's wearing? Is this the autism awareness ribbon? What is this? Hang on. Oh, it's suicide prevention awareness. That's nice. I wonder why he's wearing that. Okay, I'll take it.
Is that dam broke in the Carolinas? All that happened in Georgia. Everything. Now, where was the big voter fraud at? Georgia.
No, it wasn't. There was no big voter fraud, quote unquote, in Georgia. There is effectively zero fraud in the United States in the 2020 election, aside from the odd person here or there voting for their dead spouse. That happened a few times. Donald Trump supporters tried to vote in their spouse's name or in their kids' names or whatever. There was no systemic fraud, though. Zero systemic fraud. There's nobody that set out to commit fraud on a mass scale and did it. That did not happen.
This is where it's all happening. And these demonic hordes met and they occupied states back before. I mean, it was overcast, wind coming out of the west. Everything was just total chaotic. Then right on the heels of it, this Milton comes along and they pour a dead man's ashes into its eye.
It is so stupid.
And then on top of that, Netanyahu was talking about when Hamas,
There you go.
and you could see it in his face. There it is.
Yeah, that's a face in
No, it's not. It's a hurricane. Pareidolia much?
the form of a cloud, and what in the swirl, there's a nose and a mouth. Gee,
No, there isn't.
And there's his eye.
yeah, right
And
there.
that's what they named Milton. And that's what they poured the ashes into that eye. Why would you do that? Well, we just wanted to honor it.
No,
Why
it's
would you
much
do
more.
that?
Yeah,
He's insane. Does he really believe this stuff? Is he a true believer? Or is he completely full of shit? I know he's full of shit on the demonic portal or whatever. I can't get over that. Everything out of the guy's mouth seems to be a lie. Anyway, tell what you think about it in the comments. Is he lying or is he dumb as dog shit? Let me know which one. Yellow ribbons are also to support the troops. Oh, okay. Well, that's more likely what he was doing then. It was almost certainly not about suicide awareness. He doesn't seem like that kind of a person that would give a shit about something that's genuinely important. He seems like the kind of person who just virtue signals constantly. Oh, look how much I care about the troops. I'm a true Republican right here. God, Jesus Christ, bro. Really, like, it's beyond time to take his keys and bring some people in who can have some intensive therapy with him. This is too much.